What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fight Network's Downtown Studios. I am John Ramdeen alongside Robin Black. Coming up this May, Texas will play host to UFC 211 and the main event, the heavyweight championship of the world. Stipe Miocic back in action, taking on the former heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos. This fight, a rematch. I'm pretty sure you're excited about this fight.
Yeah, man. The heavyweight title is always exciting, but Stipe, to me, is the most exciting heavyweight of the last decade. He moves the best. He's the highest level athlete. He's ultra smart, you know, for a guy with kind of a goofy sense of humor and chill. Dude's pretty sharp up here. And the way that he moves is very advanced. He likes to go in and study guys like Dominic Cruz and Demetrius and go back with his team and try to figure out how to do the heavyweight version of that. Very exciting fighter. I love watching Stipe Miocic.
It's the name of the game right now for Stipe Miocic to look at the entire landscape and say, hey, I'm a better athlete. We already knew that he was a better athlete, but now applying all those the principles to mixed martial arts is the idea to be a better athlete in every area of the game right now, or specifically, you know what? The striking seems to be the area where everybody they're talking about. Let's play that game.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking that we think of an athlete, we think he's stronger, we think he's a little bit faster, but athletic attributes, they go down a deep list, you know, and for him, direction change and agility is a very big one. He will make you chase him, he'll make you not quite sure where he is, super talented with that. Flexibility is increasing, athletic endurance, all of those things, so that's key. I think we will see him, as much as we think of him now as really a sharp direction-changing striker, dude can really wrestle. He can really get in on your hips. He can get a high underhook, grind you up against the cage. And if you go back and watch what Kane did, you know, and you're studying the moments where Junior's had the toughest time, you want to rough him up against the cage. You know, when we look back at that last fight those guys had, those 25 minutes, Junior took a lot of abuse from Stipe. Junior won that fight. I thought he won 3 rounds. 2 judges said he won 4 rounds, but he took a lot of abuse in that
Does
fight.
Junior Dos Santos look at that first fight and say, hey, I have the recipe to beat Stipe Miocic? You know, we all saw this guy became the heavyweight champion. I have a win over the guy. Let's just do that over again. Or does he approach this fight differently and have a new strategy and expect a different version, a better version of the guy that he fought?
Yeah, he's got the recipe to beat that Stipe Miocic. This is a new one, and it will take a new Junior Dos Santos to win this fight and beat this Stipe. And I think we'll see that. I'm super pumped to see Junior fight. I'm very excited to see what he's become, because the way that he put his combinations together, the way he used his offensive weaponry was very advanced for a heavyweight. His feet didn't move. He wasn't quite as mobile. Every now and again, you'd see him use something very interesting, but it was how he put together his offensive combinations that were overwhelming enough to become the champion, to really beat up guys. But I want to see what he's done mobility-wise and what he's done to be a little bit different in his timing, because you have to change in this game. This is not the same Stipe he's fighting. It's a far more evolved Stipe.
What do you make of the rest of the heavyweight division? We think right now, because of Stipe's his achievements and how good he's looked, and he has this new technology, we understand why he's at the top of the division. This rematch with Junior Dos Santos, it makes sense. When you look at the rest of the division, you have former champion Fabricio Werdum, former champion Cain Velasquez. Is Travis Brown a player? Andrei Arlovsky, we saw him get stopped by Francis Ngannou. When you look at the rest of the heavyweight classes, is there anybody else that stands out? I expect we all believe that Cain Velasquez will be the guy on the top of that list. Is there anybody else out there that you think could really challenge the current champion?
We were saying that's this Stipe and that Stipe. There's like 30 Canes. There's like sea-level Cain and healthy Cain, full camp Cain. Yeah. You know, so if Cain Velasquez if his body is working, you know, and if you go back and look at Frank Mir in this latest chapter, he talked about healing his body and being able to move his body again, changed his game. If you get that result for a Cain Velasquez, who's a better athlete, who's still younger in both human years and fighter years, you will have a brilliant athlete. But I don't know if we'll get to see that. The abuse that he took, and all those guys, he and DC and Luke, they take a lot of abuse. It made them champions. They may never have been champions without that level of work, but it makes their careers a little shorter. For me, Francis Ngannou, I was not buying it.
I wasn't either.
But in this fight, this last one, that was a skill win. That wasn't a big, strong guy win. That wasn't a getting to him kind of win. That was a skill win against a guy and it was a pre-programmed play against Arlovsky. You know how Arlovsky commits to those right hands. They had strategized that and prepared that. I'm a believer now in that. And I'm really interested to see how Travis Brown does. I did spent some time with him in Las Vegas a week or two ago, and I was shocked by how much he understands the game and how into the study and analysis of fighting he is and of himself. So I'm interested to see him fight the big man. There's a lot of good stuff happening in heavyweight, man. And Junior versus Stipe for me is pretty exciting.
You and I are going to be in Vegas for UFC, what is it, 209. Alistair Overeem taking on Mark Hunt. For Alistair Overeem, he looked good against the champion, Stipe Miocic. Again, just timing and everything. He lands the punch, and Overeem's done. Can Overeem come back from that? He's like, okay, this didn't work. I stop Mark Hunt. I have another opportunity to face off with, let's just say, Stipe's the champion. What does he need to do to solve that riddle the second time?
That's a tough one. Alistair, I didn't think had the greatest fight against Stipe, although he was doing well in parts of it. But that's the credit to Stipe Miocic. We always have to see that when something isn't working for you, it's what the other guy presents that makes that such an issue. Rob Esposito here is working on a UFC in 60 on Overeem, and I was asking him what he's putting on, and as soon as he starts talking, the Junior knockout, the Alistair knockouts through, you start hearing about it, and you're imagining it like, wow, Overeem has had some mind-blowing moments. So I think we'll see him come back. Mark Hunt is at his best when he's out there dancing and playing as a big old fat, very agile cat. Is Mark Hunt too angry? Is he too hyper-focused on the injustices that he's experienced?
He seems to be free of that inside of the cage.
I hope so. I really do. I hope so. Because of these two guys at their best, man, March 4th, that's a pretty killer fight too.
Right now, it is a very exciting time if you are a fan of the UFC's heavyweight division. Junior Dos Santos takes on Stipe Miocic in a rematch for the UFC Championship this May at UFC 211.